First of all, that MotoGP Hall of Fame you may have seen promoted in Misano, turns out it's basically an inner circle to their Legends Wing, which already has almost every world champion already there, including other riders like Randy Mamola. The Hall of Fame is considered a further badge of honour for the series, only for those with 2 Premier Class World Championships or 25 class victories. Why 25? I suspect it's because Kevin Schwantz, 1993 500cc champ, only won 1 title but had 25 wins in the class, and they wanted to get him in. You could also make the argument for Dani Pedrosa, who never won a MotoGP title but had 31 class wins. The sport claims internally that it wants objective criteria to make it in. The other element of these changes, and the one that's drawn controversy on social media, has been Dorna telling broadcasters, as well as those in-house, to diminish the World Championships in lower classes, Moto 2 and Moto 3. For example, if Marc Marquez wins the World Championship this weekend, he'll be presented as a 7-time World Champion, not the 9 if you include his 125cc and Moto 2 honours from 2010 and 2012 respectively. It's a jarring change from a sport that's always leaned into and embraced victories on all fronts. Rossi's 9 printed on an egg, or Marc Marquez's level 7 or 8 ball titles in 2019. Of course, to diminish the career of Spain's Angel Nieto is a crying shame. A 12-plus one-time world champion, he was a superstitious man, he won 90 races in the sport's 125 and 50cc classes, but because of his success and popularity, put Spanish bike racing on the map. But because of Dorna's new objective criteria, he won't be in the sport's new Hall of Fame unless the requirements change. For me personally, an element of the sport's storytelling goes away too. For example, Pedro Acosta is one of the most highly rated prospects in the sport, still only 21, hasn't won a Premier Class race yet. If you want to talk about him, you kinda have to mention he's one of the youngest Moto 3 and Moto 2 champions ever. David Alonso, a highly rated Moto 2 race winner, won 14 races in Moto 3 last year. No rider in any category ever has won 14 races in a single year. A huge part of Marc Marquez's history as a rider was his comeback in Estoril in 2010 that won him his first 125 world title, or the damaged retina that nearly ended his career as a teenager in Moto 2. For a sport that so openly acknowledges it's copied F1's playbook on so many occasions because it struggles to sell itself outside of bike racing circles, I find it a confusing move to copy F1 here, who barely acknowledged their own junior series in F2 and F3. But you could argue, do enough people care about those smaller classes for it to be worthwhile? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.